All right, well, everybody get dialed in here. So good to see everybody. Carl White here. I call this my communications headquarters. Um, all right, so we'll go ahead and get started here. We'll get started right on time. I got a hard cutoff here in a little bit. So first of all, just want to thank the ever so wonderful Miss Valerie for setting all this up and giving me the honor to hang out with you people. Just I always enjoy doing this. So it's great to be back. I was out for a little bit, had a couple things going on my end. I understand Mr. Mike Cardacia here was doing some classes. I know Frank did some classes. Always good stuff from coming from those people. So what we're going to talk about today is number one, do you really need more leads? Do you really need more leads? And number two, if time permits, which I think it certainly will, I'm going to walk you through. I just had a one of the ladies in our Freedom Club just closed 88 loans for the month as a single producer. So it's not a team of loan officers, or she's not a branch manager. There's 15 loan officers. Her own personal production was 88 loans for the month of January. And oh, by the way, she's in Maryland, where it's been cold up there. And she did 88 loans, and she'll do almost that same amount this month. And she did almost that same amount the month before and the month before. So it's very consistent. And somebody was saying, how in the world do you do something like that? So I thought I'd kind of walk you through what her office looks like that allows her to close 88 loans as a sole producer and have a life. So that was Tammy Saul. I think I mentioned her name. Tammy Saul was the loan officer that closed 88 loans. That's a remarkable number. So all right. So let's jump right into this. So I get a lot of people asking me, say, Carl, how do I get more leads? And I often find that many times the loan officer doesn't need more leads. They need to close the leads they're currently getting. Like they got a hole in their bucket. And while they might think, well, gee, if I just put more water in the bucket, that'll solve my problem, but not if you have a bunch of holes in your bucket. So we're going to talk about that first. So let me share my screen here. Let me share screen. Hit the right button here to do that. I think it's this one. Let's see here. No, it's not. Let's see, Miss Valerie, I'm trying to share my screen here.
Something different than your PowerPoint that's on here?
Are you seeing my PowerPoint?
Yeah, if you just click slideshow and
Awesome.
start.
Okay, cool. I didn't know I showed my screen, so I appreciate that. All right, cool. So we're just going to go up here, hit slideshow, play from start. All right, cool. So this would be a real good thing to kind of write down yeah, this would be a good thing to write down. I hope you're in a place where you can write this one down. But I want you to write down these 5 words right here. So leads, and then underneath that, I want you to write the word conversations. Underneath that, write the word credit pulls. Underneath that, write the word pre-approvable. And then underneath that, write the word closings. So leads, conversation, credit pulls, pre-approvable, and closings. So these are 5 things that we monitor in my office. Is we track these 5 things. And so when somebody says, "Hey, Carl, I need more leads," my first question is, "How's it going with the leads that you're getting?" And it's very important to monitor this to know, number one, do we need more leads, or do we just need to close more leads that we're getting? And if we do have our hole in a bucket, where is that hole? Because there's a couple different places. So that's what we're going to talk about here a little bit. So what we do is we measure how many leads do we get in, and then we measure how many of those leads do we actually have a conversation with. And for my purposes, I prefer like conversations to be on the phone with them, because we convert way higher when we get them on the phone than if we don't get them on the phone. And then of those conversations we have, how many credit pulls do we get? And then of those credit pulls that we do, how many of those are pre-approvable? And of those that are pre-approvable, how many of those do we actually close? So each one of these can be a hole in our bucket. So how many leads? How many of those leads do we actually talk to? How many of those talk tos do we actually, do an app and pull credit? How many of those credit pulls are I can write a loan for those people? And of those people I can write a loan, of those people that I pre-approved, how many of those do I go to closing with, right? That's what we're measuring. So let's talk about the different areas where we can have a hole in the bucket. So if we talk about, if we have leads, but we're not having conversations. In other words, we have leads coming in, but we're not having conversations with them. What's our problem? So I got a lead coming in, but I don't get them on the phone. I'm not talking with them. I call, I hit a voicemail, or I get a lead and frankly, it ends up, on my piece of napkin and then I can't find the napkin. So if I got leads coming in and my conversations are low, what's my problem? Well, the problem is, get it here. The problem is, let me get this out of the way. The problem is either follow-up or lead source. So either follow-up or lead source. So if I'm having conversations, if I'm getting leads coming in and I'm not talking to those people, either A, I don't have, my follow-up isn't what it should be, or B, I'm getting bad leads, right? I'm getting leads from typically it's an online source, or I'm getting it from a real estate agent of an online source. And, the people clicked on a button where they thought it was, how to get a 0%. We're going to pay you to get a mortgage, right? A 0% interest rate. So they were tricked into giving their information. And then when we start to call them with real numbers and real conversations, they're not interested, right? So that's a bad lead source. So either A, so if I'm having leads and low conversations, either A, I don't have a follow-up sequence put into place, which is oftentimes at least in my world, a who question, who's going to follow up with those people, or I'm getting a bad lead source, Now let's say that I'm having conversations, but I'm not able to pull their credit. So I got leads coming in, I'm getting them on the phone, but they won't do an app with me. What's my problem? I'm having conversations, but no credit pulls or low credit pulls. What's my problem? Right? My problem is scripting. So if I have leads coming in and I'm having conversations, but on those conversations, I'm not getting a credit pull. I get them on the phone and we're talking to them and I go, okay, cool. Well, let's go ahead and kind of see what we got going here. And they go, I'm not quite ready to do that yet. Right? That's a scripting issue. So if I have an assistant here in my office that helps, which certainly we do, that helps with our closings or helps with our credit, get with our applications. If they're getting people on the phone and we can't get an app on them, we have a scripting issue. So now I know I need to work on scripting for that person or for myself that's doing that. Now, if I'm having credit pulls, but I can't approve them. Like I pull their credit and it's like, man, these people, they're certainly not in shape today to buy a house. And man, this is an ongoing problem with me. What's my problem there? Right. The problem is the lead source. Right. I have a lead source issue. I'm fishing in a muddy pond. Right. And I'll never forget. So I always share some of what we're doing over here. And and just as an FYI, my team, I got the numbers in just the other day and I don't think I brought it. So, yeah, right here. So on my team, we closed 8,719 units last year. So for 2020, my own personal, and I have no ownership of the company, right? I'm a branch manager. We closed 8,719 units for 1.7 or $1,705,243,986. So 1.7 billion on 8,719 units, which I'm very proud of that. I mean, it's remarkable to trust me, to even me, it's like, holy cow, it's hard for me to wrap my head around those kinds of numbers. And so I'm often sharing exactly how we do that. Like how do we get even remotely close to that number? But sometimes I don't share the things that didn't work out so well. So one of the worst ideas that I've ever had, or the idea that gave the worst results, was something where we were getting credit pulls, but these people were not pre-approvable. And it's where I was down. There's a flea market down the road here, and I love going to the flea market. Right? I don't know, something about it. I walk around, you see all kinds of little trinkets and things nailed together that's never been nailed together before, and some old stuff. And so I just love it. And it's a huge one we have here. It's massive. I don't know how many acres it is, but it's a lot. And I love going down there. I was walking around there one Saturday. It's going back a few years. I was walking around there one Saturday morning, and I was looking around going, man, there are a lot of people here, like a lot of people. And I thought, man, I bet a lot of people here, are looking to buy a house, right? So how would you separate those? So I opened up a booth there, ended up not that day, but I went and talked to the management, found out what it cost to open up a little kiosk there. And I did. I opened up a little kiosk, and where we gave away home information, and we gave away, we had a fish bowl, where they would put their contact information in, and they were entering in for a Home Depot, if I remember right, $100 gift certificate. And we'd give away one of those I think we did it on Saturday and Sunday, if I remember right. And we'd give away $100 on Saturday and $100 on Sunday. And we had this fish bowl. And I thought, man, this is just the best idea ever. I've got just tons of people. Well, come to find out that a lot of people that go to the flea market are not pre-approvable. I swear I wouldn't have even thought that. I thought it'd just be a good old slice of America, right? Because I go and I can certainly qualify for a loan. Many of you might have gone. You can qualify for a loan. I thought so could everybody else. Well, apparently that's not the case. So whatever you do not go open up a kiosk at a flea market to get credit to get mortgage applications. That sounds like it might be a good idea, but it's not, because the lead source, it was a muddy source. And I'm not saying anything about the people. They're human beings, and I mean, I love all people and want to help all people, but these people weren't helping themselves apparently, and they couldn't get a loan. So I had tons of leads with them. We had conversations with them. We had good scripting, so we were able to pull their credit, but it was a bad lead source, so very few of these people were pre-approvable. So that was a real problem. All right, so if we have them so that they're pre-approvable, but we're not going to closing with them. In other words, we have all these people that's pre-approved looking, and they're not going to closings. We don't get these people to closing. What's my problem? Right, so we got leads, we're talking to them, we're pull the credit, they're pre-approvable, and then they're out looking for houses, and I never close on them. What's my problem with that one? That's right, it's follow-up. I'm not doing follow-up. So that was the same as leads to conversations. So what the bottom line is, it looks like this. So if I have leads and low conversations, I have a follow-up or a lead source problem. In other words, I've got some internet leads in here, and this is going to drastically decrease my my pull-through rate. If I have conversations and we're struggling a little bit on the credit pulls, I have a scripting issue. If I have credit pulls but they're not pre-approvable, I have a lead source problem. If they're pre-approvable but we're not going to closing, I have a follow-up problem. And even if you say, well, Carl, gee, inventory is very low right now, and man, they can't find a house. Oh, they're going to find a house and they're going to move. The question is, am I going to follow up with those people until that happens? Am I going to call those people every single Thursday with our pre-approved and looking script, our PAL script as we call it, where we do a thing that's called future casting? Am I calling them every Thursday with our pre-approved looking script? If yes, I'll go to closing that person. If it won't be this week, it won't be next week. Maybe it's the following month. Maybe it's 2 months from now. But as long as we call them or have somebody on our behalf, which is what I do, have somebody on our behalf calling them every Thursday, and we follow up those people, we will go to closings. It's a pipeline. So instead of instead of going from lead to closing and it taking, 30 days, going from lead to closing might take 2 months or 3 months. But that's okay. We're okay with that because the closing we get this month are the leads and conversations and credit pulls and pre-approvals that we did, say, in October, November. As we're recording this today, or as we're doing this class today, what is it, February 17th, I believe it is. And so the closings we get in February is the work that we did back in October, November. So we get a lot of closings this month, right? We a whole lot. My team, I think we got, what was it, 753 loans closed last month, because back in September, we followed up with our leads. We had conversations, we pulled credit, put them on our pre-approved and looking list, called them every Thursday with our pre-approved and looking script using the future casting. Because we did that back in September is why we had, our best January that we've ever had on record, right? Nice and simple, right? Easy stuff. So this is a very important thing. A general rule of thumb, this is just a general, but a general rule of thumb, we're looking to close for every 4 leads, I want to go to 1 closing. And so if I get 4 leads, and this is just for me, right? Your numbers might be different. Certainly going to be somewhat different. But for me, if I get 4 leads, 2 of them are going to be pre-approvable. The other 2, they're either having a credit issue, they don't have cash, and they don't qualify for no down payment. They're looking to get a double wide mobile home up on stilts by the beach, some sort of interesting property. Nothing wrong with doing that, I guess, but I just can't lend money on those, or at least maybe you can, but I can't. And so if I have 4 leads, 2 of them I can approve. The other 2, either the property or their own credit or their own down payment or their own job history or their own income, something has an issue, right? So about half of them. So 4 leads, 2 are pre-approvable, 1's going to shop me, and I'm going to close the other one. So if I want to do, 10 closings this month and use multiples thereof, if I want 10 closing, I just need 40 leads, nice and simple. And so if I'm getting 40 leads and getting my 10 closings, I'm good. I can look at these numbers, I can improve upon them a little bit, I'm not going to improve on them much. Then I go, all right, yes, Carl, I'm getting 4 leads and 1 closings, awesome. Now we need to add more leads. If you're getting, 10 leads in 1 closing or 2 closings, well, you have an issue with one of these areas right here. Start tracking it, find out where your bottleneck is, find out where your weak point is, fix that before you start putting more leads in. I had somebody, I heard an old thing, more leads solves all problems. That's absolutely not the case, because more leads doesn't follow. I could, like the flea market, I had a gazillion leads. More of those leads didn't solve my problem. Frankly, more of those leads caused my problem to get worse, right? So more leads does not solve all problems. Let's just clarify that. Take a little taste of my tasty tea here, which, by the way, is licorice root and mint. And if you've never tried that, it's absolutely delicious. So I just absolutely love that stuff. All right. So that's how we need to know we need more leads. Do we have time? Yeah, we got a few more minutes. So let's talk now. And if you have any questions about that, you can raise your hand, or I think there's a little chat button there. Feel free to ask any questions that you want. So the next thing we're going to talk about here is this lady, Tammy Saul, one of the leaders in our Freedom Club, closed 88 loans. How in the world do you do that? What does that even look like? And so let's walk through that a little bit. Let me get this thing here. All right, so she does what we call the perfect loan process. Our good friend Tim Brahim he had something called the perfect loan process. This is definitely like a new twist that I say changes everything. I loved his loan process, so giving utmost respect to Tim, awesome guy, great leader in our community years back, and then we certainly honor the people that started a lot of this stuff. And this is just, I think, over the years, an even more improvement upon that loan process. So how Tammy's office works and how my office works, and we can close so many loans, is when the phone rings, the loan officer is typically not the person that answers that phone. Because what if that phone call is the appraiser wanting to know they don't have the lockbox key? Or what if it's the realtor wanting to know, hey, has the termite inspection done yet, or is the appraisal in yet, right? Those are not things that I'm not going to have readily information to. If I'm only closing 2 or 3 loans a month, well, sure, I might know that information. But if I'm ramping this thing up to 10, 20, 30, Tammy Saul's case, 88 closings for the month, right? You'd get so bogged down with those phone calls, well, you'd never get to 88. You'd probably never get to 10, right? If you're doing all those calls yourself. So when the phone call comes in, somebody else answers that phone. And this would typically be this is one of ours, this is Jackie, but it's typically going to be a loan partner or a receptionist, right? So for us, it's a loan partner. And whether that's a new loan in process or a loan, a new application or a loan in process, Jackie answers that phone and starts taking an application on, right? And, hey, I'd like to speak to Carl. I'm sorry, Carl's meeting with another client right now. He wouldn't want you to wait. Here, we're going to move you to the front of the line. Let's go ahead and get started. My name is Jackie. So you're buying this house by yourself, or somebody else going to be, you're buying it with somebody else, right? They just go right into the app. Works great. We've never once had somebody say, hey, never mind, put me to the back of the line. I'll wait for Carl. Like, as important as I like to think I am, come to find out, I'm not near as important as I used to think I was, right? That they just want the money. So make it easy for them to make an application. That's one thing. And Valerie, we got to do a whole class on this, is that in your mortgage business, you want to, like if we look at Quicken, awesome company. They're a major supporter and sponsor to many of our events that you and I go to. And so we're grateful for those people. But if we look at Quicken Loans, why are they number one? Right? Why are they the largest lender in America today? It's because they make it easy, right? They make it easy. So don't make people wait on you. God knows somebody's trying to give you money and a lot of it. Don't make them go to voicemail. Actually have somebody answer the phone. And you want to make working with you like frictionless. And I call it, I want to be wet ice on wet ice. Like there's no friction at all to somebody doing an application with me. So God knows the last thing I'm going to have them do is go to voicemail. They're trying to give me money. And if somebody's trying to give you money, make it easy for them, right? That's what Quicken does. So I'm a huge fan of Quicken and how they make that happen. So, all right. So the phone call comes in. It goes to our receptionist, our loan partner. By the way, the receptionist, our loan partner, certainly we found out here in the last year with the COVID thing going on in 2020 that they can be local or virtual, and we've got both. And we use a phone system called Ring Central, so that when somebody calls that number, it rings into our loan partners' computers. And whether I'm actually here in Tampa Bay area, some of my loan partners are in Atlanta, some are in Michigan, some of them are in Texas. We got some in Kentucky. We got some in, I think, Louisiana. For sure, we have some in Georgia, right? Piece of cake, no big deal. We can definitely work virtual. And whether they're working from their house 5 miles down the road, or in our case, a different state, different time zone in the country, nobody knows the difference. So I like that. And then with these loan partners, when they're returning people's phone calls using Ring Central, which is a voice over internet service, right? It's not just Ring Central. Vonage has it, Grasshopper has it. So that just happens to be the one that we use. That when my loan partner makes that phone call from his or her home computer, that the office caller ID shows up, so we stay in control of that conversation. So a phone call comes in, loan partner answers it. They can be virtual, they can be in your next room, they can be in 2 houses down, they can be 10 states away, right? The loan partner takes that call and does the VIP front of the line script. Carl's too busy. Carl's meeting with another client right now. He wouldn't want you to wait. You're real important to us. Here, we're going to move you to the front of the line. And they take a complete application right then. So the loan partner takes a complete application. They pull the credit. If the DU is high enough, if the credit's good enough, they run DU. They ask for the initial docs. They determine which program they think is best, but they don't discuss it with the client. So they determine hey, man, I think this is going to go VA, or I think this is going to go FHA, or I think this is going to go USDA, or I think this is going to go 20% down conventional, whatever it is they structure the loan for you, the loan officer, but they don't discuss it with the client, right? That's the loan officer's job. So then that assistant or that loan officer assistant, they go onto your calendar, pick a green spot, which means it's an empty spot that you can meet with people, and they set the appointment with that borrower, with you, in our case, on a Zoom meeting. And so that then the loan officer sells a deal, face to face on a Zoom meeting here, right? And then that loan partner then will that loan partner will then text me and say, hey, Carl, Realtor Lisa referred Jane and John Doe. I took the application on them. Looks like it's going to go VA. I put it in your calendar. You're talking with them this afternoon at 4 o'clock to sell the deal. Awesome. Get back in the office. For about 15 minutes before I start the phone call, I look over the app, look how she structured it or he structured it, and look to see what the rates are. We meet them at that prescribed time, sell the deal and rate, and then give it back to the loan officer assistant, right? So that's a basic flow of how we do a loan. And then every Tuesday and Thursday, we do a 15-minute pipeline update, which doesn't take long at all because we don't talk about all the things that's going right with the files. We only talk about issues that are going wrong. So if the appraisal has been ordered and the title has been ordered, they don't need to tell me that on 43 deals that they're closing, or Tammy Saul's situation. She doesn't need to hear that on 88 or 84 loans that she's closing for the month. She only needs to hear what issues or what files are in jeopardy of closing late, and team, what are you doing about that? That's all she needs to know, right? That's all I need to know. Which files are in jeopardy of closing late, and what are you guys doing to fix it, right? That's it. And out of 20 deals, shouldn't be that many that are in jeopardy of closing late. That's the only ones you need an update on. The others, you assume the appraisal and survey's been ordered because your team's taking care of that, right? We also have the loan partner or loan officer assistant oftentimes actually delivers the bad news. And it's not to offload it so we don't have to do it. I just find that sometimes loan officers are a bit optimistic. And I know sometimes I'll hold off on making that call thinking maybe I can get it going and maybe we can fix it because I'm an optimistic kind of guy. That may or may not be the best way to do that. And then the loan partner tells the loan officer to go get another loan, right? So this is what you're wanting to set up in your office. This is a very good flow of what a loan partner does versus a loan officer in these high volume situations. So then the loan officer, again, verifies the information on the 1003. They sell the program and the rate. They give it back to the loan partner, and they go make the phone ring with another lead. Rinse and repeat. This is how you close 84 loans in a month, right? This is it, because if all you're doing is selling the program and rate and then going out and generating more leads by referral partner relationships, that's exactly what Tammy did to close 84 loans, right? It's what my office did to close 8,700 loans last year. This is exactly how we do it. Once we get back to the loan partner gets that loan into processing. They gather the required docs. They babysit the clients to keep the ball rolling. They update the clients every Tuesday morning. The loan partner updates and we've done this before in one of these classes here with Valerie, is the loan partner calls the borrower, the co-borrower, the listing agent, the buying agent, and the title company, and gives them an update on the file and asks for more business. Who else are you working with, Realtor Sue, that Carl can help you with? He'd like to work with you twice this month. Who else are you working with? Oh, nobody right now? Well, Carl wanted me to ask you, can he count on you to give him a call the next time you have a prospective buyer so they can help them and help you to make sure you get to closing on time with that client? Can he count on you for that? That's it. Right? It's just that simple. And then the loan partner also clears all loan officer conditions. We have found that the hardest part in all this stuff is getting the loan officer to let go. Getting that loan officer to say, hey, loan officer assistant, loan partner, production partner, however you want to say it, I trust you. I know you're collecting the docs. I know you're updating everybody. You go do that. I'm going to go generate more business so that we both have job security, right? That's it. And so just kind of letting go. I get it. This is kind of a process, and you build the trust after you go along. But yeah, you gotta just do it and see how it works out. And the other thing we find oftentimes as loan officers when they get off of these, 50, 60, 70-hour work weeks is learning how to have free time again, right? Learning how to have free time again. But to have that free time on the Monday through Thursday from 9 to 5, we have to put our war paint on. And while our loan partner is helping us close the deals, right? We put our war paint on and get out there and bring in new business, right? We do that referral relationship marketing that we've talked about here, right? So we have to do that part. And just you want to just make sure that what you're doing is the money making activities. And like if what are those set of activities that you do that brings in most of your deals, right? Just go do more of that, whatever that is. Now, when you do this, I tell a story about Jack Rouse. Some of you might have heard this, but it's worthy of being told. It's worthy of me telling it again for somebody that might not know it, because this is a really big deal. So in trusting to let your loan partner take care of things, I often hear, well, Carl, what if something goes wrong? And what if they're late? And what if I lose that referral partner because they're mad? I'm a huge NASCAR fan, right? Race fan. And there's a NASCAR engine builder that builds a lot of the engines for some of the top teams. And his name is Jack Roush. And you might see, if you're going around town, you might see some Mustangs in your town that says Roush Racing, a Roush Mustang. And so he's very, very, very famous guy, very, very wealthy, without question, the most successful engine builder, I think, in all of NASCAR throughout history. And I was listening to him on an interview one time, and they asked him, say, Jack, what is it about you that you create these unbelievably strong engines? What makes you so much better than everybody else? Like why are your engines so much better than everybody else? And he says, I tell you what it is. He said, what we do is we build an engine, and then we put that engine in the shop up on an engine block, and we start it up, let it warm up, and then we give it full throttle, like put a brick on the gas pedal, so to speak, and then we go have a cup of coffee. And we come back when that engine blows up. And then we open up that engine, what broke? And let's say it was a piston ring. He said, I'll build a bigger, better, faster, stronger piston ring, put that engine back together, put oil back in it, warm it up, start it up, warm it up, and put a brick on the gas pedal again, and we go have lunch. And we come back when that engine's blown up, and we break it down again. What broke? Let's say this time it was a push rod. He said, I'll build a bigger, better, faster, stronger push rod. And he said, here's the punchline of this, guys. He said, while everybody else is afraid of breaking down, here at Roush Industries, we encourage it, we embrace it, because when something breaks, we'll identify what it was, and we'll build a bigger, better, faster, stronger engine. That's how we kick everybody's butt. And man, when he said that, I just felt chills go over my body. And I thought, man, that's exactly what it is. That when you get these assistants, you let them do it. You go, Carl, what if something breaks? Look, it's going to break. What if the loan closes late? Look, you're going to have one close late. What if I lose that referral partner? You are, right? You can't win a Super Bowl without having a fumble every now and then. You can't win the World Series without striking out here and there. That it's going to happen. And you just find out where is it breaking, and you build a bigger, better, faster piece of that machine. And sometimes it's a who. We got to get a bigger, better, stronger, faster who that doesn't make those same mistakes. But we don't know if they're going to make mistakes or not until we put the engine in the car and let it go run some laps. If we're afraid of it breaking and never take it out of the garage, not going to win a race. So when you get these loan officer assistants, man, let them go do their job and build a bigger, better, faster, stronger machine, right? Because I just want to let you know that you're so worthy of this. I know when talking with, I don't mean to keep bringing up Tammy's name, but I was just talking with her, I think it was yesterday afternoon, we were talking and giving her congratulations on closing 84 loans for the month of January. And we both got emotional during the call. And it's like, the biggest thing is to understand that you're worthy of so much more. You're worthy of so much more. It's these wonderful things. I don't care at whatever level you're at, you're worthy of even more than that. And so the perfect loan process, get your team together, let them do it, hire only trained people. I don't like hiring new people. If I'm gonna start an airline, the last thing I'm gonna do is hire brand new pilots never flown an airplane before and try to teach them how to fly. I'm gonna hire seasoned pilots that's landed that plane 1,000 times before. So just understand that you're worthy of just absolutely great things. You can have these spectacular numbers, and that's what I got for you today. Just one thing in closing, Valerie. If anybody wants to have a call with us, we're happy to do this. There's no charge for this. If you just go to loanofficerstrategycall.com, when you do that, you'll give me a little information about what you're doing. Are you a branch manager, loan officer, closing one loan, 10 loans, or 84 loans a month, like whatever number it is, just let us know. And then it'll best help us prepare for the call. And then we can talk about team building, lead generation, who does what. If you're a branch manager, or if you're a loan officer, if you're a banker or broker, you want some help with your social media, we can map out how we do that. Scripting, structuring your day, structuring your week. I can show you all these things. There's no charge for the call. It's about 45 minutes. The only thing I ask is be in a quiet place, pencil and paper, and we're happy to do that with you. So loanofficerstrategycall.com. And Miss Valerie, that's what I've got today.
Great. Thank you so much. As always, we really appreciate all of your great tips and information.
Well, it is an absolute pleasure, Valerie, and I love hanging out with your people. Really good stuff. And I know I say this all the time, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart, Valerie. We're just so appreciative of what you and the association does. If it wasn't for you people, I don't even want to think about where we'd all be at these days after going through some of the ups and downs in the industry, and that you guys always have our back, and we really appreciate you guys. And thanks for everybody that along with me helps to support what Valerie's doing. Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you. See you next time.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.